So there we go. So we have our party. So I've been struggling to think about where we were going to start, but now I know exactly the perfect place to start. The nice thing about starting Dungeon World is that it's always interesting, right? It's not fun if the party is sitting there in the tavern just having some drinks and they're just relaxing. That's not what we're here about. We're here for adventure. And as such, the 5 of you characters are currently standing in the middle of a fortress. You're all standing in the middle of an open area. I'm not quite sure what the word would be. What would be a word for, like, I think it's a courtyard. Maybe it is a courtyard. Well, okay. For the sake of moving on, you all are standing in the middle of a courtyard, and you're all completely surrounded by what appears to be men, armored men. Some of them have masks and whatnot. A lot of them look very brutish, and they all have their bows drawn at you. There's easily 24 men with bows drawn at you all as you're standing in the middle of this courtyard. You have recently just been invited into this fortress. You've known that this was a city that took in refugees who are escaping the bandits to the east. They're known to be a safe haven from the thieves. However, they accepted you in. They said, "Yeah, come on in, come on in. We know we've heard about you. We know you're traveling east, and that you're trying to avoid the bandits. And here they are, holding you at arrow tip."
No, I would have thought that today would have gone better than this already.
Oh, good job, Pierre. Let's go to the random fort, you say. We can trust these guys, you say.
What's the name of the fort, by the way? Seeing as Miss S, or Shank, was the one who got the news about this fortress, what was the name? What did they tell you?
It was.
Ha!
I think it was like Helms and
Mar.
We were in Heimberg.
We'll call it Helms. That sounds good. So, the Fortress of Helms. I actually like that. That's actually a good name. So, now that you've been let into the Fortress of Helms, you're being held at arrow tip. And as you stand there, shocked most likely, a man steps forward wearing shining armor and a helmet. He slowly takes off the helmet to reveal that he is a rather handsome-looking fellow. Short, cropped, blonde hair, lightly styled from the shape of his helmet. It's strange because, he has helmet hair, but it actually works with him. It gives him a good look, right? So, and he steps forth and he says, "Hail."
Greetings! I am Pierre, and who may I have the pleasure of speaking to?
The name is Gregor. I am the captain of this fort. And what brings you all here? Why have you wandered this far to the east?
I feel like it would be easier for me to converse if you weren't pointing 20 arrows at us.
I do not know if I can trust you, and as such, the arrows shall stay.
Well, we are currently pursuing a kidnapper.
A kidnapper, you say?
And a necromancer.
And they head east, and so you pursue them to the east.
Precisely.
It is exactly as he says.
You must be mad. To the east, there's only death, only thieves, only brigands. That is all you'll find there. You know what? I tell you what. I'm going to do you all a favor. All of you are going to drop your weapons and your equipment and your supplies where you stand. And that way you have no choice but to retreat back west to replenish your supplies. And when you come back, we will take them again. We will take your supplies today, but should you claim that you are hungry and tired, we will give you a bed within the stockade. And then you will leave tomorrow and head back west. This is for your own safety, of course, as to go west, or as to go east would be a suicide mission. Consider it a favor that we strip you of any way of traveling east.
I
Yeah,
thought
so
it was them who was protecting us from bandits.
We are protecting you from bandits. You give
By
us
stealing our stuff.
your weapons, you head back west, and you stay in the village in the safety, and we will use your weapons to kill the bandits and prevent them from wandering over this way. It's as
Or
we
you just
said,
add us.
we're protecting you
Seems
from
like very
bandits.
flawed logic right there.
So we should be thanking you for robbing us so that the bandits don't.
Consider it a lesson learned. This is very dangerous territory, and there's more than just bandits to worry about out here. You don't understand the struggles that we're currently going through.
Nor do you understand the struggle we are in. There are lives on the line, more than just our own, should we fail in our quest.
And you discount ours and the lives of those that we protect by standing here at this fort, battling the evils that approach it?
I'm certain there are ways to do so without taking all of our stuff. That would be nice.
You will leave your weapons at your feet. You will spend a night in the stockade, and we will open the western gate to you, and you will head west with your things. But I will not have another word, and now I will expect you to drop your weapons where you stand. There is no more discussion.
Okay, I put down my mace. You have us at a disadvantage. And we came here to stay the night. We can at least do that, whether it be in the stockades or otherwise.
I see that you have finally found reason.
I will follow Luna's lead and put down my knife, but specifically not my spellbook.
Let's see. I want you to roll a Defy Danger Wisdom as you try to make your book seem inconspicuous. Congratulations! Our first failure of the session. As you all can see down here in the bottom right, he rolls the 2 dice. He adds whatever modifier, which in this case is +0, and we get a roll. In this case, he got a total of 6, which means that he has failed. He gains an experience point, which you'll see he just shifted up a little bit. But as he has failed, one of the soldiers calls out, "Aye, sir, that looks like one of them books from the south, from Desiderado. Is it true? Do you have a mage in your midst? If so, he shall drop his tome as well with his weapon."
Pierre, put your weapons down.
Hmm.
Look, we came here for shelter, they've offered us that, and they've even generously changed their stance on whether or not they're going to be keeping our stuff.
Okay.
Plus, there's not much we can do with 20 crossbows trained on our heads.
As Luna complies, Alessa complies, and she drops her enormous sword, causing a shake on the ground and causing dust to sweep up and sweep upon the soldiers that are standing close.
I'll put my sword down. Just be like, no, they could have been terrible shots. But
And Athergate.
It would be a great humiliation to me.
We will ensure that they are properly taken care of. They will be in the same room as you, just out of your hands. I understand what it is to be a soldier separated from his weapon. I do this for your safety and for the safety of my soldiers.
I will pull out my flails and then drop them.
Very good. That's alright, VB. Thank you for coming by. I hope you enjoyed. Okay, so the 5 of you are escorted to your rooms. Luna and Shake are given a room together. Alessa's too large to share a room. And Athergate and Pierre are enough size they can comfortably share a room. A little more intimate than they would like. Better yet, Athergate is given his own room, but Pierre is roomed with another gentleman. So we know why the party has come all the way this way. But who is this gentleman? Roomed with Pierre. Just how did he get here and involved with this fortress? He appears to be in the same situation as well, though, where he has had to drop his weapons and he is currently being detained.
Wait, do you want me to say how I got here
Yeah,
before
yeah, out
the
of
scene? Okay.
out of character. How
Out
did
of
Son get
character,
here?
Well, ever since I fled my homeland way, way long ago in a galaxy far, far away, I've just been traveling east, east and east away from that land. Went through Bacchus, then what's ever east of Bacchus, where I don't know the geography that well.
There may in fact be nothing east of Bacchus. We haven't decided that yet.
No,
Yes,
everywhere
there
we
is.
are is east of Bacchus.
Yes.
There is ocean east of Bacchus, and to the east of that is the previously known as Kumasi territory. I don't know exactly what.
It's the Free States.
And then even further east to here.
To here. That is right. We are east of the Free States. That is the region to the west of the mountains.
And that's probably why you're here, because you can't go further east because they won't let you.
Yes, I've just been traveling through wilds, running as well as I can. Then I come here, and I get jumped by all these guys.
So you can see that this man's clothes are in tatters. He doesn't appear malnourished, but he does look like he's been here for a few days.
Second person in the past week we found in tatters.
In character.
No, I'm probably just thinking that.
Oh,
So
okay.
what's the layout of this place? Are we all in like different cages or something?
Yes. Yeah, the stockade is basically just different cages. You all are put into the same room. There's a room which contains a bunch of the different cages. So.
So me and Shank are in a cage together.
So you're all in the same room. Next to your cage appears to be a very exotic and fancy looking. To her right is Alessa. Across from Alessa is Athergate, and San and Pierre share a room together. So there's one empty cage in between Athergate and San and Pierre.
Are there any guards in here?
Better yet, it would make more sense if Pierre had his own cell next to Athergate, and San sits in his little corner over there. There are guards outside the room, you know that, but there are none currently in the room watching you now.
I just find a corner of my cage to sit down with my cloak drawn up over my head. There's not a lot of room in here, crowded in with Shank.
Shank, you see go into her little corner and sort of step a level up in emo.
I'm already max level in that.
It's not like you're cutting yourself at the moment.
Of course not, they took our weapons.
A true emo would find a way.
What is it right now, like evening-ish or whatever?
Yeah, it's getting close to the night. You came in and stopped because it was convenient, and you were going to rest and spend the evening in the fort. And you are. Your weapons are located here in a chest, by the way.
Hey, Luna, question for you.
Yes, Shank?
You want to stay in the cage in the corner all night, or do you want to be out of here?
Well, to be honest, I would rather be heading east. But there's not much we can do without sleep.
Yeah, if you get some rest, I'll see if I can get something going with this.
Alright, Shank, it sounds like you have a plan.
At the start of one, it's going to get completely screwed over by, Evizard.
Everyone's interaction with this plan.
No, just Evizard.
So Alessa calls across to Athergate. Eh, dwarf man. You know you could easily break doors.
Well, it's a matter of does everybody here actually want to get out on less than friendly terms?
I'm not saying we should hurt them, but I am saying that they're hypocrites for trying to protect us from bandits by robbing us.
I didn't say hostile, I said less than friendly.
Speaking of friendly, hello there to you two.
Well, now that they aren't pointing arrows at us, our options have increased dramatically. What about these two?
I am waving vigorously.
So the young, eccentric-looking gentleman next in the cage next to you, San, is waving extremely vigorously at you.
Hi. Why are you waving so vigorously?
Why aren't you?
Because we're in cells.
Oh, that we are. Did you happen to run into the same problem we had?
Do you not possess observational skills?
You F girl, says Alessa.
Yeah?
So this woman is enormous. This is the largest woman you have ever seen. She can hardly fit in her cage. She actually cannot stand up in her cage. She has to remain like crouched down and sitting on the chair. These men, do they hurt you or touch you?
Well, none have hurt me yet, or touched me, but hopefully if a guard comes by, that can change fairly quickly.
You're a strange woman. Nonetheless, I think these men, they mean no harm. They do stand in our way, though. That is the conflict.
They have their own path as we have ours. And I believe that we should continue to follow it as quickly as possible.
So suddenly the door busts open, and you hear a guy groaning as he falls down backwards, and there's a spear lodged into his stomach. You hear the sounds of a commotion of fighting and screaming coming from the hallway.
Oh, that's it. I'm breaking out.
I'm gonna go ahead and open mine too.
All right.
I am going to whistle really loudly. As if to call an animal.
Ow!
So suddenly, out of the hole that's in Pierre's cell, there's a little hole in the wall that you didn't notice before. Now that you look at it, it looks kind of like a foxhole in the side of the wall. And suddenly, a wolf pounces out and pounces on top of you, Pierre.
Is it friendly?
It's got its mouth open, you see teeth.
That is a problem.
Heal!
So then it sits up properly with one paw on Pierre's chest with its tongue sticking out, and then it licks Pierre. It licks you in the face.
Well, aren't you friendly? Scratch, scratch, scratch.
Don't be too friendly.
He gives you a little whine as he looks at you and turns his head. Alright, Athergate, it sounds like you wanted to try to open your gate. I believe you have a
yes.
move for that.
And I rolled for it.
Oh my goodness. And it looks like Miss S was also trying to open up her gate.
I've never opened this kind of lock before.
Yeah, as you try to mess around with the lock and try to pay very close attention to it, you find yourself just giving yourself a cramp as you can't figure out how to unlock it. Meanwhile, Athergate just straight up grabs both of the bars and then opens up a perfect dwarf-sized hole in the wall.
There we go.
However, due to Shank's mistake, she drops and fumbles her lockpick, and she makes herself very seeable as she's reaching out. And from the hallway, out comes a goblin. which growls and it pulls out the spear from the soldier who's laying on the ground, and it starts walking towards Luna and Shank's cage. It's standing right next to you, Athergate. What do you do?
I walk up behind it and punch it straight in the back of the head.
Okay. It doesn't see it coming. You knock it out. It's laying on the ground unconscious. And just as you do that, Gregor busts into the, comes into the door, and he sees that you've already broken out, and he sees Shank trying to sneak out. And as he's assessing the situation, he takes a moment before he shakes his head and says, "No time!" And he takes out the keys and tosses them over to Athergate. "Unlock yourselves. Gather your weapons. I hope you all know how to fight. We've got a goblin raid." And we'll end
No,
the
we don't know
session
how to
there.
fight. That's why we're going west.